Yes, I see a lot of K-pop fans acting like they have a PhD in Korean culture and society or something. It's really annoying.
I'm saying I don't wanna come down from your love. We'll get lost together like we fly. Don't ever let me come down from your love. From your love. From your love.
Hey guys, it's Bree and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm actually doing a collaboration with YouTuber Ningelic. You probably know her as Fairy Go On. She actually recently changed her channel name. But after you watch my video, make sure to head over to her channel, subscribe, and check out her video. In my video, I will be reacting to Ningelic's unpopular K-pop opinions, and in her video, she'll be reacting to my unpopular K-pop opinions. So like I said, you want to make sure that you head over to her channel and watch her video after you watch mine, because I'm sure you guys want to know my unpopular K-pop opinions and how she responded to them. Her editing is also really cute and she's funny, so I definitely would recommend her channel. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So the first one is, I find Ryujin to sometimes be an underwhelming dancer. I feel like her dance skills are really overhyped for no reason at all. Her studio tune performance still disappoints me. Not gonna lie, I was a little bit surprised by this unpopular opinion. I would definitely say it's unpopular. As far as Ryujin, I think she really blew up and received a lot of attention after the Wannabe music video dropped and the promotion started, because that little shoulder move she did in the beginning of the song really had a lot of K-pop stans in a chokehold, whether they were MIDZYs or not. I think the thing about Ryujin is I wouldn't necessarily say that she's the best 4th gen dancer or anything like that, but I do think she is a good dancer. Remember that ITZY is a dance focused group, and I also think that she has really good stage presence and attitude when she performs. So I think even though she might not be the strongest dancer, she's still a good dancer and she does kind of demand your attention when she's performing. I also really did like her studio tune performance personally, so I guess I do agree with the fact that she might have been overhyped a little bit just because of how big Wannabe was and how iconic her part in Wannabe was as well. But at the same time, I do get why a lot of K-pop stans love her and think that she's a great dancer. The next opinion is, as a Ningning stan, I have a feeling that people constantly overpraise Ningning because of the simple fact that she's considered unproblematic. She's talented, but she could do the bare minimum or have zero stage presence and everybody would still eat it up. Now I know that this is a common thing that K-pop fans mention. A lot of them say that aespa doesn't have the best stage presence, so I do see where you're going as far as that. As far as her being overpraised, to be honest, I'm kind of out of the loop because I'm more of a boy group stan and I only casually follow aespa, so I can't really comment on that one way or another. I have heard people saying that out of all of the members of aespa, Ningning and Winter have the least amount of stage presence. I don't know enough about them to say that, but I will say that I really like Ningning's voice. I think that she is a great vocalist and I always love her parts in aespa songs, but I guess what you're saying about them overpraising her as far as being unproblematic, maybe what you mean is they're comparing her to other members like Giselle, for example, who had the whole N-word scandal. Not really sure how I feel about that unpopular K-pop opinion, but that's just because I don't know much about the topic of aespa and Ningning specifically. The Soyeon hate is getting out of control now. People are constantly trying to find ways to make fun of her on site like Twitter, from her rapping to dancing. It's getting old. I do know that people were dragging Soyeon for the performances of My Bag because of the way she was twerking, and I also know she did get a lot of hate because of the song she did on Teenage Girl. I can't remember the name of the song, but apparently there was a huge controversy because people were saying that she plagiarized ITZY's song Wave. It was like a big scandal, and apparently the producer of that song, Edenary, was fine with her sampling the song, but it still became this big issue and a lot of people were kind of side-eyeing Soyeon because of the way that went down. So I do think that Soyeon is one of those idols who's kind of gotten caught up in a few scandals here and there, and now maybe people just collectively like to pick on her. Personally, I don't really understand it, and I do agree with you that the hate is kind of out of control, because me personally, if I don't like an idol that much, if their behavior doesn't vibe with me, I'd rather just not follow them and not consume their music than to continue dragging them on the internet. It seems to make the whole K-pop fandom more toxic, so why do it? I think it's another thing to call out behavior that's inappropriate or offensive, but just dragging people for fun, yeah, it's getting old. International fans who act as if they know everything about Korean culture when it comes to scandals is problematic. Yes, I see a lot of K-pop fans acting like they have a PhD in Korean culture and society or something. It's really annoying just because you consume one small fraction fraction of Korean media does not make you an expert on Korean culture, and honestly, it's offensive for you to even think that if you do. With some K-pop scandals, international fans can weigh in on it if it's more of an objective thing, but if it deals with issues that specifically have to do with Korean culture, if you're not Korean, if you don't know enough about Korean culture and you're just a K-pop fan, I think sometimes you don't have the reach to speak on the topic, and maybe you should just not weigh in at all, or at least don't act like you're an expert and you know everything about Korean culture. People who expect that all of TWICE will continue as 9 are nuts. If they were to renew their contracts this year, then I feel like only 6 or 5 of them will. So yeah, I do know that the end of TWICE's contract is coming up pretty quickly. I don't follow TWICE that much, but when I think of this personally, I think about boy group 2PM. I know for a fact Taekyeon is no longer under JYPE, so I'm thinking that hopefully, even if the girls don't renew their contract with JYPE, maybe they'll be able to be managed by another company and still be a member of TWICE. I'm hoping they have that opportunity because, to be honest, I think it would be silly for JYPE to do anything else if they don't want to be managed by JYPE anymore, just because TWICE is so huge and brings in such a huge chunk of change for JYPE. So for them to not want to negotiate and make sure all the members of TWICE are happy so that they can remain in TWICE, I think that would be a downfall for them as a company. What I'm saying is I'm not sure if TWICE will renew specifically with JYPE, but I'm hoping they will be able to remain in TWICE and continue to promote as a group if that's what they want to do. Obviously, if they don't, for whatever reason, once again, I don't follow TWICE that closely. If they don't want to be in TWICE, if they want to pursue a solo career or acting, like I know Nayeon is dropping her solo debut soon, then so be it. Whatever they want, I hope that they're able to go after that. Some of the 4th gen groups probably won't survive in the near future, and I have a bad feeling that EVERGLOW is one of them. I don't know that much about EVERGLOW. I only know a few of their songs. When I think about them as a group, the first thing that comes to mind is the whole situation with the member Yerin, who got into this big controversy because of a conflict between like Chinese and Korean culture. I actually did a video on that. I know that she was sent to China after that for a hiatus. Many people were saying that it was because of Chinese New Year. That was back in the beginning of this year, and I wasn't sure about whether Yerin was back in Korea or not. I actually just looked it up, and apparently she's still not back in Korea. She's still in China. So that is kind of fishy, and I've heard some iffy things about Weihua Entertainment in general, so I do kind of see where you're going with this, especially with how they've been handling Yerin, which is weird to me because I heard that they're a Chinese company themselves, but I wish the girls the best. Garam won't be kicked out. HYBE will probably wait for the scandal to die out and then quickly add her back in later. I agree with you 100%, especially with the recent news coming out with Garam's image being included in a Japanese magazine recently and in some type of Japanese promotional material for the group. It seems like HYBE is not taking her out of the group. I even saw a post on Panchoa about fans saying that they've actually ran into Garam around the HYBE building and that she's been giving autographs and just been working in the HYBE building or Source Music building. So that shows me that she's still working, even though she's on hiatus, she's still active, whether she's dancing, practicing, or whatever. Especially since in their last statement, HYBE mentioned that they were going to settle with the accuser's law firm. That tells me that they don't want to go to court. They want to settle it behind the scenes to minimize any more attention to the issue. And once everything dies down and once they settle with the law firm, I do think that Garam will come back. It doesn't seem like they have any intentions of leaving her out of the group. I could be wrong, but based on what I've seen so far, I agree with you, and I do think that that's what's going to happen. ITZY's new music direction is not bad. Everyone is being dramatic. Yeah, to be honest, I think the last title track of ITZY that I really liked was Mafia in the Morning, but I haven't really been following them since then. I know a lot of fans are saying that their music is too noisy or disorganized. I mean, I don't think their new music is bad per se, but I will say that the recent title tracks have not been my taste. I wasn't really a fan of Voltage or Loco. People who get mad when watching ranking videos make no sense. You know what you signed up for when reading the title. Yeah, and I actually did a similar opinion to this in my previous Unpopular K-pop Opinions video, and it's so true. If you are clicking on a video that's a ranking video, you know that the content creator is going to be ranking whatever they're ranking based on their personal tastes or opinions. So if you're going to be mad that they have an opinion different than yours, or if you don't like the way they rank it, or if you can't handle the fact that someone ranked your favorite group lower than what you would like, honestly, you're too immature to watch videos like those, and maybe just don't watch them if you can't handle it. I'll never understand it. Being someone who's done ranking videos for Girls Planet 999, Kingdom Legendary War, and most recently Queendom 2, I've noticed that when I do ranking videos, dislike to like ratio is so much higher than my other videos, and it's because people just can't handle it. Like, seriously, grow up. If Soojin were to make a solo debut, she'd most likely flop. I don't know what's been going on with Soojin. I haven't heard any news recently ever since she left Idol, but I also kind of wonder how successful a solo career would be for her, just because I feel like her only real supporters would be other Idol fans, and maybe even some of them wouldn't support her as much. They would prefer to support a group. And from what I've seen, it's harder to make it as a solo artist than it is as a group in K-pop. I feel like in general, groups in K-pop tend to do a lot better unless you are a huge solo artist that's always been a solo artist and just is killing it and has a great fan base like IU or Daniel Kang. On the other hand, it seems like to make it as a solo artist, you need to be a soloist from a group that's like super popular, that's been in the industry for a while and has like a really big, dedicated, supportive fan base. And I don't really know if Soojin would have that as a former member of Idol. I think that as a soloist, you also have to like really stand out vocally, whether you're a really good vocalist technically, or there just has to be something about your voice and your singing that's unique. And I don't know that much about Idol, but what I'm saying is I don't know if Soojin would be able to stand alone and make as big of an impact as a soloist versus what her role was in Idol, but that's just my opinion. Nugus only get popular or recognition by just pure luck. Nugu stands wishing for their faves to get popular is nice, but I feel like too many of them expect them to have this BTS came from the bottom to the top type story, which 90% of the time won't be the case for most Nugus. Yeah, I mean, there are so many Nugu groups that have been killing it, that have been coming up with these really cool, amazing, unique concepts and songs, but they still haven't really made it. What happened with BTS was literally a miracle. I'm not saying that BTS doesn't deserve their success, because they do, but they came from a small company, they worked really hard, and they managed to blow up like no one could have predicted. And not everyone is going to be able to achieve BTS's status. That's just what it is. Especially Nugu stans, there's less of a chance because they're coming from a smaller company and they have less resources than a lot of the big three. So it is hard out there for Nugu groups. I definitely agree with you. You have a lot of them trying to come up with these really out of the box crazy concepts just to make some noise, just to make it. So it's not easy. 11 by IVE is overrated. Love Dive is better. I actually really liked 11, but once Love Dive came out, I was like, oh yes, this is the one, this is it. Now 11 is good, like I said before. I think it was a very strong debut for a 4th gen group. I definitely think it's one of my favorite debuts from this year, but something about Love Dive just hit different, and I feel like it really took over K-pop for a while. Everybody was talking about that song, whether you were a fan of IVE or a girl group stan or not. It's just good, and I think that it really captures that dream pop sound that seems to be really popular in K-pop now, so I'm a big fan. So that's it for me reacting to Ningelic's unpopular K-pop opinions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what you thought of Ningelic's opinions, whether you agree or disagree. You can also comment any of your unpopular K-pop opinions in the comment section below. Also, like I said, make sure to head over to Ningelic's channel. I will leave the link to her video in the pinned comment so that you can watch her react to my unpopular K-pop opinions. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I would also recommend that you check out my Discord server. The link will also be pinned below. It's a great place for you to chill and hang out and talk to other K-pop fans. We also have weekly events such as watch parties and listening parties, so it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend that you join. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Like